Non-technical users need data more quickly than ever these days. What if marketing ops, revenue ops, sales ops, and others no longer had to wait days or even weeks for engineers to develop the infrastructure for their reports, their campaign setups, and more? Instead, just typing what they need directly in a chat interface while AI agents handle the rest. Welcome to One Amazing Thing About Civic Technologies. Today we're talking with Titus Capilnean, VP Go to Market at Civic Technologies, and he's going to be sharing one amazing thing about Civic Nexus with us today. Titus, welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this in action in a minute here. Before we do that, why don't you start by giving a little background on you and your role at Civic?
Yeah, for sure. I'm at the intersection of product and marketing at Civic and also sales and BD. So kind of a mix of roles. We're a small and agile team. And then my background is a combination of also technical and non-technical expertise. I've built my own startup before as a technical founder with the help of these new AI tools. But like historically, I've been a marketer for most of my experience, like full stack marketing. I've experienced the pain of not having access to data because of the lack of like technical resource and the lack of like time and end of day from developers. So for me, it's like a very personal pain that I've experienced, and I'm glad to see AI is now solving that. Now at
Yeah.
Civic, we're focusing on helping professionals work more efficiently by connecting this AI technology with tools that everybody uses in their day-to-day lives, right? Because not everybody knows how to connect through the open AI protocol, for example, like how to structure a JSON request to an LLM when they want to get like their emails or the calendar sorted, or they want to access data from their database, right? Like all that is non-trivial for a non-technical person. So at Civic, we're focused on connecting these tools for them and managing authentication, authorization in a safe and secure way so that everybody can do their work better and faster.
Great. Love it. Well, yeah, let's dive in here. And I can definitely empathize, and I agree. I've felt the pain of some of the challenges that this solves as well. Waiting. I am not a data engineer or a software engineer, but have waited on many things from many people to be delivered. So definitely looking forward to seeing this action in action. Can we maybe start with you giving a little more detail of what you're going to show today and who the audience is and why it's important to them?
Absolutely. So the product is called Civic Nexus, and it's essentially a tool that connects to other tools. So imagine like it's a set of pipes that goes to your Google Suite, your Microsoft 365. It goes to your databases, your customer data or your product data. It goes to your HubSpot. It goes to your Active Campaign. It goes to any kind of CRM that you're using. It goes to like automation platforms. So we have about maybe 50 or so servers available that connect to different tools. We have hundreds of tools available to people on demand. And these are all orchestrated through like a language model interface. So you would chat with the tool and say like, hey, I want this thing from this place, and it'll retrieve it for you. And you'll see in the demos how that works.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Well, yeah, and on that note, let's take a look. Why don't you share your screen and talk us through it?
Absolutely. So let's kick it off with just the tools first, show you what that looks like. So essentially, Nexus is a collection of um, access to, in this case, I have selected Active Campaign, Appify, Atlassian, Google Analytics, all these tools that a marketer or like a salesperson or GTM person will use in their day to day. So this all should look familiar to people. And transferring data from one place to another programmatically with the help of AI is not trivial. So um, we're making it easier for them to do that. So let me show you how it works in practice. So this is the main problem I started talking about. Marketers need access to data instead of waiting for data to be provided by developers and like submitting tickets to business analysts and waiting hours or days for an answer, or for even worse, for a dashboard to be built, and that gets deprioritized because like some customer feature is top of mind, as it usually is. You can now ask questions directly to your database. So all you need is your devs to set up your endpoints to the database, And in my case, I have this Nexus usage database set up with some dummy data for us today. And I can ask directly, like, how many users were created in the last 7 days and they have jobs that they ran. So I gave it more specific instruction so that it only does one tool call for me and gives me the answer right away. So in this case, what it's doing is going to the database and it's executing an SQL query, which I would otherwise had to ask an engineer to run for me, or I have to go and manually create it somewhere in like ChatGPT or Claude. So in this case, in just a few seconds, I have all the information I need. So in the past 7 days, 26 new users, they had 16 orchestrator jobs. So in this case, I can also ask a follow-up question. It's like, well, what kind of tools did they use? And in this case, it's going to continue querying the database for me. Because usually when we look for data, it's not just one data point or two data points. We might want to dive deeper. We want to understand a bit more about our user base, right? Every time. And from that perspective, the issue as marketers is like, we need to ask for a new query.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this case, it's looking at the database in detail, and it will provide me with the answers. And this works for any database, right? It could be like Postgres. If your devs tell you, no, we have MySQL, but we support that too. Or MS SQL, we support that as well. Or Redshift, that also is something that we can support. And there's an MCP server for that. So from that perspective, it makes it extremely easy. So let me show you another interesting use case where, for example, you attended a meeting and you want to skip over the manual work of adding those tasks that came in through the email summary
Right.
into your task manager. So in this case, we're going to use Gmail and Asana as the tools, but you can essentially connect to like Notion. You can connect to Google Docs if that's what you're using to track tasks. You can connect to Atlassian and Jira if that's what you want. So essentially, I'm going to ask Nexus to check my Gmail for a meeting that I had earlier this week. And I'm going to ask it to anonymize everything, right? Because I don't want to share names of people and clients without their permission. And I'm going to add those tasks to Asana. I'm going to assign them to me with a deadline for early next week. I can also assign them to other people, but again, I don't want to reveal names necessarily.
Right.
So let's go. In this case, my alternative would have been to go in Gmail and then dig for the task list, and then go and manually add those tasks to Asana. So while we're waiting, let me show you that Asana is now empty. So my tasks are completely empty here.
Got it.
And once it will finish its job, then we'll see the task that it added.
Yeah.
And you save like 15 minutes of post-meeting admin work with this, and it adds up over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing that you're hitting on here is, a lot of these tools, they have their own AI within the tool, but the real power is in tying these things together. So you can query within, an Asana or something like that, but being able to tie between Gmail and Asana and other tools, like, really, it puts you in the middle of things as opposed to kind of jumping around, right?
Yeah, 100%. Even if you go into, for example, like Gemini, right, native Google AI, it still cannot modify things for you. It will be able to read your email, but it won't be able to add stuff to Asana, for example, in this case, right? So you can see here, it found my meeting and it's creating the tasks. So we can go into Asana and see what it's doing.
Oh,
So it's essentially creating the tasks for me for next week.
wow, a lot happened in that meeting.
A lot of things happened in that meeting, yes. So imagine I would have had to go and do all this manually.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Nice.
So, and last but not least, this is one of my favorite ones. Is like, well, what if I want to reflect on my week, right? And I want to check my Google Calendar from the past week, and I want to create a Google Doc of where I spent my time. And again, I'm going to ask Nexus to anonymize, just to make sure we're not showing anything that we shouldn't. And in this case, it's going to take information from my Google Calendar from the past week, and it will create a Google Doc where I spend my time. Again, this you can run in Gemini as well, but it won't be able to create a Google Doc for you. It will only show you like a summary of your calendar entries, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's great for reporting. And for example, if you're managing other people, you can tap into their calendars as well with their permission, obviously. And then you can do a summary of like, hey, what did my team do this week, right? And prepare, for example, a broader meeting report for the following week based on that.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's all it turns preparing for like a weekly meeting from a 2-3 hour ordeal to like a 15-20 minute exercise, putting everything together, as
Yeah.
opposed to kind of shifting through and figuring out where things are and doing the inference on your own. Because in this case, the AI takes that cognitive load from me and creates the work that I can then check and evaluate. So see here, it looked at my calendar, it created a document. I'm going to open the document, share this tab instead. So weekly time analysis, nicely structured,
Nice.
executive summary. So I spent a bunch of time in strategic planning and meetings because I'm a people manager. Did a bunch of one-on-ones, internal operations, external engagements, focus work time, personal time, all blocked off. So it gives me a report
Nice.
like where I'm spending most of my time. And it's going to give me also some key observations. And you can obviously tailor this, give it a bigger prompt, but that's I think the gist of it.
Yeah.
That way you don't really automate the entirety of your work, but you automate the pieces that are most time consuming and where the AI is most appropriate. So for example, if I need to get data, I have a way now to collect that data without having to involve necessarily an engineer and distract them from their core product work. If I
Yeah.
want to simplify my admin work, now I have a way to do that. If I want to reflect on my calendar, I have a way to do that. If I want to organize my HubSpot data, we're gonna have a way to do that, and so on. So
Yeah.
I think it's extremely powerful, extremely versatile. It's like a Swiss Army knife for tool connections and to automate parts of your work that otherwise are hard to automate.
This is great to see. And in addition to what I teed up in the intro, as far as relying on external teams, I think you hit on two really key things, and maybe sometimes underrated. But um, one is just the cognitive load part of, okay, I know I need to do this thing, or I should really be thinking about something like time management. And we often are so busy doing our work day to day that we don't have time to think about the work and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I think that's key, but also I think it's saving 5 to 10 minutes many times a week or month or whatever. You think about that over the course of one person, that's a lot. But when you start thinking about it, 15, 20 people on a team, those time savings are considerable. And think about what could be done with that time. So I think, yeah, definitely anything that enables that. And also, to your other point, it doesn't replace the valuable work that you're doing. It lets you actually focus more on the valuable part and lets some of the automatable tasks just be done by a tool.
Yep, 100%. I think we want to bring data to AI, help us like accelerate where we are so we can do 10 times more things. I think that's kind of the ethos
Yeah.
here of what we're trying to do with Nexus.
Yeah, love it. Well, Titus, I thanks for joining the show. I know we only had time to look at a little bit, a few things here. For those that are interested in learning more, what's the best way for them to do that?
Go to civic.com and then sign up for Nexus. It's free to start. It's a super friendly free trial. And yeah, start asking questions, connect it to tools, authenticate, and then see what you can get.
Love it. All right. Well, again, I'd like to thank Titus Capilnean, VP Go to Market at Civic Technologies, for joining the show. You can learn more about Titus and Civic by following the links in the show notes.